Los Angeles Lakers basketball. I think eventually the Lakers are positioning themselves to build around Andrew Bynum. In the early 2000s, they chose the younger Kobe over an aging Shaq. I'm sure you and I think alike. They would have won more rings together. I feel that way. Well, it seems like a matter of time until they ship Gasol. You would get the most for him right now and be able to acquire some younger talent. They can get a king's ransom if they traded who? Yep, you got it, but don't say it out loud, right? That's insane. They would never trade Black Mamba. I hear all that. But we should feel that way as fans. That's a no-brainer. Well, check out the other side for a minute, through the eyes of a businessman. There you are in your room, responsible for the Los Angeles Lakers. You put your phone on silent with unread messages, missed calls, and voicemails. The second you turn on the TV, the players you pay to play for your team go public. While you do all the dirty work behind the scenes, crunching numbers, looking at contracts, watching film, shaking hands, flying different places, you invest a fortune into a professional basketball team and have to make fans happy. You have to hire people you trust and pay them to scout, coach, and research. All employees under your watch and on your dime. The best player in the world is Kobe Bryant, and he is on your team. You stuck with him through the Shaq dispute, through his adultery in Colorado. Now he's 34 years old. He's still elite. His value is sky high, and you can rebuild overnight if you moved him. See, as fans, we want to win this year. Skip Bayless calls it prisoner of the moment, and that phrase is catching on around the sports world. You try to win championships, plural, as in more than one, and that's what the Los Angeles Lakers do. They're the Lake Show. Imagine the Lake Show featuring Deron Williams, LeBron James, and Andrew Bynum. No disrespect to Kobe. I love the guy, as do most of you, but odds are Deron Williams and LeBron James have more games left in their careers, and so does Andrew Bynum. If healthy, that is a question mark. The NBA, it's a business. You already got a coach in Mike Brown that Kobe didn't want. You went and traded Lamar Odom, one of Kobe's best friends, and you're actively trying to trade Pau Gasol, who's been on the trade block since the beginning of the season, and it's affecting the locker room. The only constant I see is Derek Fisher. Other than that, everything's new to Kobe. He nearly forced a trade back in '08 to the Bulls. I'm sure they would love him next to Rose right now, and I'm sure the front office contemplating this for a while now. But will they pull the trigger at some point as far as Kobe Bryant is concerned? As far as around the league, the Lakers have expressed interest in Michael Beasley from the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was the second pick of the draft from the Miami Heat. And I remember the Bulls had the first pick, Miami second pick, and there was a debate whether Rose should be the first pick or Michael Beasley, and look at them now. One's an MVP, the other's looking like a journeyman. As far as Lakers Timberwolves trade goes, no, the Lakers aren't getting Kevin Love or Ricky Rubio. Although it would be nice to see Kevin Love come back home. He's from UCLA. But Beasley, the small forward, definitely a position of need for the Lakers. Another guy, small forward from the Hawks, is Marvin Williams. He's frustrated with his role in Atlanta. He wants to see more touches, and even without Al Horford over there, he's not getting the ball. He's a very athletic wing player, not really known for an outside shot, but he can hit it. And sticking with Atlanta, another option for the Lakers, point guard Kirk Hinrich. Since he came back 8 games ago, the team's chemistry has just been interrupted, and he might be the guy out of the loop over there. and he's definitely a player that's been on the Lakers' radar since he was back on Chicago. Not sure if 8 games is too soon to move on from a player like Heinrich. He's a good defender, decent shooter, point guard skills. Um, would suit the Lakers real well. But you figure a lot of teams are calling about him. A guy I like a lot personally, Raymond Felton. For some reason, he's bounced around the past year from the Knicks to the Nuggets, now on the Blazers. He's a combo guard. He's got game. I think he's got solid all around game. He played well for the Knicks last year before being traded. There's a trade centered around him for Carmelo Anthony. He did a decent job in Denver, and then he was flip-flop for Andre Miller. Suddenly, in Portland, he doesn't finish games. He started, he doesn't finish games. His minutes have been decreasing. Coach Nate McMillan, he prefers Jamal Crawford, which is fine. That just makes Felton expendable, and I think that's an option a lot of teams should look for, especially the Lake Show. He's a combo. He's a combo guard. He can score from the point guard position. Good on the fast break. He can run an offense. He would definitely draw heavy interest if he's truly on the trading block, which I think he is. And I was listening to a show earlier, and this caller called in and caught my attention a little bit. He's a Warriors fan, and he was talking about how the Warriors and Lakers should trade. The trade he was talking about was Monte Ellis and Andreas Biedrins, the big man, for Pau Gasol, with the Lakers maybe throwing in the trade exception that they got for Lamar Odom. I think that's a great trade. Great trade between NorCal and SoCal. Ellis, he just erupted for 30-plus last night again. This guy, put him at point guard. He'll get steals for you. He's a playmaker. He'll score points. He'll alleviate a lot of pressure. He can pass the ball into the post. He'll be able to hit Andrew Bynum. He can drive and kick. Take a lot of pressure off of Kobe, and he's better than people are making him out to be. And he was doing some good things before Stephen Curry even got drafted into the NBA. But sticking with the former Warriors player C.J. Watson on the Chicago Bulls, there's even talks about Watson and Boozer coming to town, that is Los Angeles, for Pau Gasol. I think that'd be a fair trade for both teams as well. Similar contracts. Boozer's got 3 years left. Gasol has 2. Watson can play the point. Lesser degree than Monte Ellis. Less expensive. But he can play. He can initiate. He can initiate the offense, and he's a scoring point guard. I mean, he's very aggressive on the defensive end, and he hits the 3-ball very well. One of the best in the league this season. Along with his teammate Kyle Korver. So I think that's an option that should be considered at the very least. Talking about the Houston Rockets, guys that may be available, definitely not Kyle Lowry. He was on the cusp of being an all-star this year. I think that guy's untouchable. He can get near triple-double numbers any given night. Kyle Lowry is an elite point guard. He's just not getting the love shown, and that's okay. This league has a ton of point guards, very talented at that position now. And you'll start hearing his name more if you haven't. But his backups, Johnny Flynn, he was drafted by the Timberwolves a few years ago, and Goran Dragic, he was on the Suns behind Steve Nash. Those are a couple guys that are more than serviceable. They like to shoot as well. They can initiate offense. So you can see if the Lakers aren't going to go get a small forward, obviously they would look at point guard, and Gasol is probably their main chip to trade. Dwight Howard, I don't see it happening for the Lakers, but I do see him being traded after the All-Star game and by the trade deadline, just not to Los Angeles. I feel Chicago and New Jersey will be his destination, with Chicago having the best to offer. They have 4 big guys over there, and starters with Joakim Noah and Carlos Boozer. From the bench, they got Omer Sheik, 7-footer, and Taj Gibson, role player from USC. And together, those 4 make the best unit, most production from the power forward and center positions in all of basketball. So you got to figure 2, maybe 3 of those guys, and either Ronnie Brewer or Kyle Korver thrown in to make that trade go. Who knows? I just don't see it for New Jersey. But keep in mind, Orlando doesn't want to see Dwight Howard 3-4 times a year. So they might take the gamble and attempt to call his bluff, because not many teams can sign Dwight Howard, or trade him to the Western Conference. I just don't see it in the Lakers' plans. They don't have the assets at the moment. But who knows? Anything can happen.